The new reporting about Donald Trump and his letter to Jeffrey Epstein is not a good look for Donald Trump, and they knew it ahead of time, which is why they tried to kill it in every way that they could, making wild threats. They apparently were on an effing warpath to kill the story. That's what one administration official described it as. They did a pressure campaign against the Wall Street Journal, which I'm glad that they note this in the Rolling Stone. It's not a commie rag, it's a conservative newspaper. And as Brett has said earlier on the show, Trump is in a litigious mood. They know that they're likely to be sued, so they definitely have double checked this thing. Again, doesn't mean it's true, but bear that in mind. They're not gonna risk the loss of millions and millions of dollars. Apparently, this was one of the top priorities by Donald Trump. Hey, maybe that's why he didn't put any time into actually getting to the bottom of the Epstein thing. He was too busy dealing with this. But his team and his wider allies in the right-wing media sphere are happy to rush to his defense on this. Karoline Leavitt saying it's a hatchet job article with a fake birthday letter that's supposedly from 2003. By the way, she has no ability to know that it's fake. Just to be clear, she didn't know Donald Trump when that letter was written. I don't know if she was born when that letter was written. So for her to just state that it's fake, okay, you want us to believe that, but you have no insider information, and Donald Trump certainly wouldn't tell you. And then she just does a Trump impersonation saying it's just like the Russia hoax. And then she says they refuse to show us the letter and conclude they don't even have it in their possession when asked about it. Okay, and so that's like the first message out is we never got any chance to respond or whatever. And it's sort of what JD Vance said. He says, forgive my language, but this story is complete and utter bullspit. The Wall Street Journal should be ashamed for publishing it. Where's the letter? Would you be shocked to learn they never showed it to us before publishing it? Does anyone honestly believe this sounds like Donald Trump? Well, again, the script maybe was a little bit more put together mentally than he'd be capable of doing right now, but scrawling in Sharpie the boobs of a woman, yeah, no, that kind of does sound like him actually, JD Vance. So they're both implying that we never saw anything. But the thing is, we know that for a week, they were trying to kill this thing. And again, it is conceivable that the Wall Street Journal never gave them the text of the letter. Kind of. Does anybody actually believe that in the week back and forth with the President of the United States, who sues more people than anyone else in world history, they didn't make available the text of the letter? Okay, well that's what they're putting all their chips on. I find it very hard to believe. Okay, Elon Musk says the letter sounds bogus. No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. And Donald Trump Jr. says my father has a very specific way of speaking. People all over the world have mimicked it for decades. That is true. And way to try to get that hug from your dad, but his brain has fallen apart. I mean, we showed that interview from like the 80s where he's talking about potentially running for president. He sounds like a relatively sane and intelligent person. He's lost many, many steps over the years. And so they're all rushing to defend him. But I will say, Brett, they love being able to do this because it's hard to defend him on the failure to disclose the Epstein stuff and pretending that it's all fake. They don't want to defend that in the media because then they look like traitors to their base. But this involves attacking the media. It's the easiest thing in the world to just attack the Wall Street Journal and get some cred in Trump's eyes without turning off the base. This is like almost like a free day for them. But what do you think?
Well, there's a lot of solutions out there for how to quell this kind of pushback. Just release all the Epstein stuff. That's all anyone wants anyway. He would have done it, it seems to me. Like, here's a couple things. If it didn't incriminate him, he would have released it.
Yeah.
If it didn't incriminate people that Donald Trump has kind of the type of person that Donald Trump says is like the evil person who rules the world, but like, if this reveals that Donald Trump is hanging out with those people, then it screws up his game saying he's against the deep state if he's just yucking it up on Epstein Island. In terms of like this being real or fake or them giving to the White House some version of it or the whole text, JD Vance could have just been left out of that conversation.
Yeah, that's entirely true.
Karoline Leavitt does not need to be reached out to for this comment. It can go to a number of people and they can fulfill their journalistic obligation to solicit comment on original reporting. And they don't have to tell them the whole thing. They can say, I just want you to know that we are releasing a story, that we have a letter or information from a letter or copy from a letter that we have confirmed with 3 sources that is real. And we will, we've done our due diligence to feel comfortable running the story. We want your comment. You're the president of the United States. We are the Wall Street Journal. You have 24 hours, which is a more than reasonable amount of time for them to get it together, because they're gonna run the story. We're dropping it tomorrow. Now, if it's an individual who's doesn't really have the capability to give a statement, then they should wait longer. But when it's the White House, it's yo, this is happening tomorrow. Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think Trump is denying that he sent it, but it isn't necessarily the case that that's true or he's lying. A couple days ago, he didn't remember that he appointed Jerome Powell, and he made up a conversation in his mind, and I'm giving him full credit, with his doctor uncle at MIT that supposedly had the Unabomber as a student, and none of that is true.
Yeah.
Again, we have to give Trump leeway for the decay rapidly spreading throughout his brain. He has no idea what happened, so he might have sent it and then just completely forgotten it. So everybody get all the way off his back.
In his defense, this did come out. The letter is dated 22 years ago, which is multiple lifetimes for the concubines he and Epstein held at that island.
Exactly. If it was a person, he'd throw it out of bed.
Yeah, 22,
Anyway.
Gross.
God, even Matt Gaetz is dry heaving somewhere, even thinking about it. But again, the libs are all the pedophiles.